a multi-talented visual and performing artist, a gifted poet, lyricist, and creator, a commanding verbal painter and mixed media artist dually drawn to the spiritual freedom of abstract expression and the conformed structure of graffiti. Influencing his aesthetic and versatile style is a military upbringing. Now, living in Orlando, Florida, he is proud to give back to this community as part of the nonprofit collective Exodus United, which some of you may have heard of, look it up on Instagram, which teaches youth about art and encourages its use as a positive outlet to help deal with life's everyday struggles. He also uses his artistic gift to uplift others, to live to the fullest, and to leave behind a legacy that not only their families can carry on, but others around them can be inspired by your art. Art has personally helped him to overstand and understand who God, the creator artist, really is. Jason, Ty, Davis, thank you for being our feature artist tonight. Please come on up.
Legacies. So as I flew to New York City to bury my grandmother, for the last time, I got to see what the New York skyline really felt like. You see, as a kid, I used to always wonder what the Brooklyn skyline looked like, so as I flew to New York City to place her in the grave, to make sure that the legacy she left behind was not just for me. So as I stood on the 59th story of the Ashland condominiums, the same place where my grandfather still resides, I got to see every single borough for the first time as a grown man, and that's when I really realized the legacies that my grandmother left behind were not just for me. So are the legacies that you're leaving for everybody else to eat? You see, if the proper seeds are planted in the proper place at the proper time, then everybody will get a chance to eat off your seeds. You see, I had a chance to realize the legacies that my grandmother really left behind. So as I stood there on the story of the highest condominium that I ever stood, I got to see the Barclays Center and Brooklyn and the bridge that I always wanted to cross for the first time. You see, the last time I seen New York City, I was a small youth, but I got to realize that the legacy that I leave behind is not just for me to eat. You see, I'm trying to make sure that these legacies are not just for me. So as the artwork that I put on top of my Subaru Legacy, as I rash by, you see, those cars last a long time. So I hope that these legacies that I leave behind last a long time. So that's when I really realized that the 9-to-5 grind, I see where I got it from. You see, my grandfather told me that my grandmother used to always belt the gospel out her lungs, even though she clocked out from her 9-to-5 grind. From 5 to 9, she was going to give you that gospel to the day that she died. So as I binge watched these videos, I made sure that the legacies that she left behind was not just for me. So that's when I got a chance to truly see that the grind that I had was embedded in my name. You see, when I changed my last name back to my birth name, that's when the negativity of all the negative things that I had attached to my old ways broke away from me and broke away those chains. You see, the last name that you have is part of your legacy. So are you really leaving a legacy for everybody to get a chance to eat? So as I stood on the Ashland condominiums for the first time, that's when I really realized the legacies that my grandmother left behind. So are you leaving a legacy for everybody to get a chance to eat? And hopefully you see that the proper seeds planted in the proper place at the proper time is not just for you to eat. You see, it's for everybody to eat from that tree. Legacies. Always remember the struggle. Always remember the struggle. Arts. So as I paint away my pain, I understand that the paintings that I put on the wall always seem to be different each day. So as I open up my third eye, I sit here and realize that the paintings that I put on the wall was like the gallery that I walk inside and I wonder, what was going through that artist's mind? Why they decide to paint those beautiful colors from their mind? I mean, why they make sure they use that gold this time with a little bit of gray to make sure that the painting will pop this time just right? You see, when you walk inside of a gallery, I want you to sit back and just think. What was going through that artist's state of mind when it was painting those beautiful lines? You see, me, I love Basquiat. He's the most best painter that I think lived in my lifetime. You see, I wanted to know what went through his mind, so I read and watched the video that they say when he was hit by a car at the age of 9 years old. He was bedridden for a pretty long time, and his mom gave him the Grey's Anatomy book. And so if you fast forward, you'll see that the most expensive painting that Basquiat sold happened to be the cranium. So I guess he painted away from the things from the Grey's Anatomy book. You see, the things that you ingest will always come out from the outside. If you sit back and just in due time, wait for God to shine through the painting and through the pain. You see that positivity applied in negative time increases that natural growth spiritually. Now I was just trying to grow spiritually. So I watched that paint dry. And see, they say aerosol is a fast way to paint, but sometimes I sit and watch the oil to sit here and paint away my pain. And see, oil really takes a long, long time to dry. I mean, I had a painting that I created. I think it took me about 3 years to create this painting because it took so long to dry, and that's God's time. That sometimes the seed that he planted inside your soul gonna take a long time for the fruitation. I mean, the seed, the growth, the roots that are bedded inside your soul. You see, God will take a long time to craft the right time for you to understand that the painting that he has on your life, he's trying to hang it in the right place at the right time. Don't rush God's paintings.
That's right.
Don't rush God's paintings. So if you open up your eyes, God always paints a beautiful abstract painting every single day. And you better take a picture, because I promise you it's not going to look the same each and every day. So that positivity applied and negative time increases that natural growth spiritually. And always remember the struggle. Because last time I checked, we all have a heart. And inside that heart, there still is the word art. Do a little quick room check. How y'all feeling? Y'all feeling good? Good. I'm blessed. Thank you. It's good to see everybody's beautiful face. Peace and blessings. So I'm going to do this last piece. Before I do this last piece, put a small shameless plug. I have the other side of my brain on the outside. So after the set, at the end of the show, come holler at me. You can see my other side of my brain. You know what I'm saying? And I love how the man of the house spoke about the art. And I always tell people now that there's no such thing as starving artists. We just need people to support us. So there's no such thing as starving artists. We're not starving. We just need people that respect what we do to support us so we cannot be starving. So that term is thrown away. That's 20 beyond. So no more starving artists. We're not starving. We just need people that respect and love our art to support us. So if you know somebody that you love and respect as an artist, you support them. That's all I ask. As an artist to other artists in the room, support us. We appreciate it. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and close with this last piece. I realized the devil was telling me real lies, so open up my real eyes so I can start living my real life. I said, I realized the devil was telling me some real lies, so open up my real eyes so I can start living my real life. I said, I realized the devil was trying to tell me some real lies, so I sat back and opened up my spiritual eye, and that's when I really realized that, see, God's inside everything that I do in the day and the night. He never left my side. You see, if you tap back into your spiritual state of mind and embrace the darkness sometime, you always will see the light. Because you see, when I close my eyes, I always still see these colors in my mind. So just like a blank canvas, life is just like a blank canvas until you decide to paint away your pain and realize what you realize and live the same. Because it's funny how I was the one not preaching that a few years ago, but watching everybody else around me preach from my own state of mind until I realized from the verbalized of my mind that I was the one not realizing with my real eyes. Until I sat back and got back in tune with God's mind and meditated sometimes and sat back and just took the inhale, exhale of the thing called life. And sometimes I don't wear a watch because I'm aligned with God's time and I'm always in God's mind. So God said in due time, I'm going to bless you if you stay focused in my mind and stay focused on my time. Get back aligned with me and you so we can get back in the present. And see me, I love presents. So I'm going to stay present. I ain't going to stress about the past and I ain't too anxious for the future. I'm going to focus on right now, because if I stay anxious for the future, it might not come, and the things from the past, I can't go bake and change anyway, and I ain't begging for no change, so I guess I'm going to stay present so that God can elevate my brain, so I can stay focused on the paintings that I create every day, and some days it might take a long time for them to dry, but that's okay. As I meditate in the darkness of my mind, I realize that God's trying to show me something from his third eye into mine, so I sit back and realize with my real eyes and focus on God's time. Focus on the paintings that he put inside my heart and my mind to paint away my pain. And some days the poetry cannot say what I have to say, so I pick up that paintbrush and stroke away my pain, because that positivity applied in negative time is going to increase the natural growth spiritually. And last time I checked, we all are spiritual beings. I'm trying to get back in tune spiritually with God's abstract mind, to focus on always remember the struggle. And oh, there were some beautiful times. I ain't gonna sit and lie. I thank God for the beautiful state of mind that he gave me in due time. So when I put on my vision and third eye, I see that I was the one that was blind, but I'm no longer blind. I see past those two state of mind of my eyes and focus on my third eye. And God said, stop being blind. Yes. Stay focused in due time. I will come back when I'm supposed to, when you got it together. See, you always will get together. Like each footstep, like a child, when I take their first step and fall, they just get back up. And I had to get back up and back in tune. So 2020 really gave me some vision. I gave back God some of his time. I got back in meditative state of mind and focused on the sweat from my eyebrow as I focused from his third eye and realized with my real eyes and developed my real life. So realize with your real eyes and live your real life. Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you giving me your energy and your time. I am also the art facilitator, like Lauren mentioned, so I am part of the nonprofit Exodus United. We are actually working on sending some beautiful teens to California for Brave New Voices. So if you are in the poetry community and you heard about that, you know that's a huge, big deal. So I am selling artwork to help with that, of course, for myself, but I do give back to the nonprofit. Simba is like my little sister. No, that's my sister. I call her my sister. So if you know about Exodus, we are really out here in the streets encouraging our youth. So yeah, support not only myself, but Exodus. If you want more information about what I do, you can follow me on the gram. I am Jason Ty, just how it sounds, like a nice little tie that you probably wore to church this morning. I am Jason Ty. You also can follow Exodus United. Peace and blessings, peace and blessings, peace and blessings.
Our first three readers. We are going to have the vegan gorilla. He can explain himself and his name when he gets up here. We are going to have Linnell, and then we are going to have Curtis.
My name is John Studdy. I am the vegan gorilla, because vegans gorilla. I'm going to do two new pieces for you. They're short. One is entitled Go Shorty, and the next one, yes. And the next one is entitled Bodybuilder. Here's a riddle. What's guaranteed to happen once a year, but not guaranteed at all? Or, what do you anticipate that makes you happy, but the longer it happens, the more anxiety it brings? Or maybe you get this one. What's soon to come with no delay, your very own, unique to you, but so many others have it, and some even have yours. If you haven't figured it out, I'm talking about your birthday, your born day, what many have now labeled your solar return. When your young family and loved ones gather around you, sing and celebrate as voices elevate in unison. Wishing you the best, those parties were so lit as the candles were lit and you blew them out and people hope you didn't spit on the cake. Wishes are made, games are being played, music is being played, voices rapping as I'm tearing open the wrapping paper, hoping paper is inside the card that grandma gave me, loved by mom and dad, but I'm grandma's baby. She made me and everyone feel like her favorite. So sad that many reflect on these times and events as disappointments, fatherless gatherings, wishes unfulfilled, careless crusades, a time they wish you would have done nothing, then fall short of their expectation. Please, no acknowledgments. Let me fall through the cracks. No spotlight. Don't embarrass me. I'll leave if I have to. Why would you tell them? Oh my God, please stop singing. They're saying happy birthday, but the words you hear ringing in your ears are disappointment to you. You'll never get what is due. These are dark days and dark times. Ultimately, you're screwed. Everyone doesn't have the joy that most believe is a universal emotion on the anniversary of their birth. For what it's worth, we can only hope to be a component of their happiness, a smile for some while others require fireworks. May you know that your life has purpose, and without your contribution on this planet, there are many who would long for someone such as yourself. We love you more than we articulate at times. You're special, unique. It's your birthday, but the truth is, you're a gift to us. Happy birthday. That's why it's called Go Shorty. Go Shorty, it's your birthday. Ah, you like that. You go really. Nice. This next piece is entitled Bodybuilder. I wanted to be a professional bodybuilder, but I wrestled with words. I grappled with thoughts. Thrown in a figure four, I figure 4 years is long enough to not have pinned down my goals. Escaped the chokehold, swollen, symmetrical. Up against the ropes, my hopes, my dreams was being tag teamed with adversarial chops in the throat. Slammed on the canvas, counted out, broke. The drama and the theater of it all, I was thinking so small. Unwilling to trade one drug for another, thank God I was addicted to change and growth. Hormones raging, doing anything else would be a stretch. On stage, my verses aren't judged on vascularity or proportion, but it can be in vain if a portion is only postured for comparison. Flexing to drop jaws, now flexing by dropping jewels, causing women to drop drawers, hoping poets drop egos. I wanted to be a professional bodybuilder, but I wrestled with words, I grappled with thoughts. Realizing life is not a sport, life was not a sprint, but a marathon, catapulted like a javelin past Babylon, having plenty of hurdles to jump. I paraphrased in paragraphs, pronunciating perfectly prepared precisely, no longer deadlifting, but picking up the slack. My wingman said my wingspan was crazy on my back, feeling like the world is on my shoulders, not afraid to press. I pull up myself, then I pull up the rest. Called to build the body which has been established by the Godhead. I wrestled with the words I wrote instead of memorizing what God said. Moving so fast, but needed to fast to temper my appetite for foolishness. Knowing most are scared to strike out, I moved in harmony and pitched perfect, covering the bases, letting nothing slide. If not, I'm out. My name is John Studdy. You must be kidding. It has been written, so I'm not left swinging at the air. I'm prepared for the inning. I wanted to be a bodybuilder, but I wrestled with words. I grappled with thoughts.
My name's Linnell Edwards, and I'll be reading I Wish I Was Alone. I wish I was alone. I took us so far away from our home. Why did they listen to me? I did not know. I did not know of hunger. We starved until we fed each other secrets and regrets. It was a soup of sadness, spiced with pain, and a rain of tears, seasoned with lies and a bitter truth. Will there be a roof over our head? Will we need to share a bed? The uncertainty was what was hurting me. Where is the money? Where is a job? Why is it so hard? When will it end? Who will stay when we have nowhere to stay? Who will I become A baby no longer allowed to suck on their thumb. Oh God, what have I done? I wished I was alone. But because I was not, the nights weren't so cold. I wish I could go back and whisper, it will get better and better and better, until it is a distant memory that you will always remember. You will make them at home. They will be safe. Keep going. You can't turn back. I won't let you go through this alone. Thank you.
This poem is called Flop Era. To the white rapper poet who said, quote, sports are stupid. The first time I ignored your status. The second time was during the Winter Olympics. A Russian figure skater was center of a doping scandal. I unfriended you on Facebook. What I meant to say was because Muhammad Ali, because Jackie Robinson, because Venus and Serena, because Jim Thorpe was Sack and Fox Nation, the first Native American to win gold, because Hank Aaron received death threats, because Bill Russell had the N-word spray painted across the house he lived in with his wife and children. LeBron James had the N-word spray painted across the house he lived in with his wife and children, because the Phoenix Suns wore Los Suns jerseys to protest the Arizona governor, because Willie Mays had a song written about him 10 years before LBJ let black men inside the voting booth. Because growing up, my favorite racist joke went question: why do Mexicans never win medals in the Olympics? Answer: because anyone who can run, jump, or swim is in the US. Because the best part of that joke is that it's inaccurate. Mexico took bronze in soccer in 2021. 2 women in Mexican history have earned gold medals, one for weightlifting, the other in Taekwondo. White boy, you've never had to break stereotypes, never had to make jokes obsolete, never had to prove you can punch and kick back to a world that says you belong in the kitchen. I wonder if you've ever had to fight for anything. I wonder if you can fight at all. You've never had to prove you belong. Everywhere, because Linsanity, because Jeremy Lin scored 38 points against Kobe Bryant at Madison Square Garden, because the Raptors won the finals and Ola Canada went nuts, because Jay Lin was on the team, the only Asian player to ever win a championship ring. You've never had more trophies than the people who say your ancestors have small dicks, because I'm a Jays fan. Luke reps Pittsburgh. The name Roberto means something to both of us because Clemente's plane crashed when he was en route to aiding victims of an earthquake, wished to use his celebrity to keep the corrupt government of Nicaragua from diverting care package donations a 4th time because white sportscasters called him Bob or Bobby, and he asked them to stop. There's an arena in Puerto Rico named after him. Hiram Bithorn was shot to death by a cop. There's a stadium in Puerto Rico named after him across the street from the Clemente Coliseum. You've never done anything worthy of statues. Never had to carry an island, a race, a people on your back because Jordan Alvarez defected from Las Tunas, crossed the 3-run homer that won the Astros the series Afro-Cuban, needed a translator for interviews. You've never had a stadium scream your name when you don't speak the same language. The white fan who caught the ball was wearing his jersey because the Indians became the Guardians, the Redskins became the Commanders, because we're still talking about the Chicago Blackhawks, because we think the tomahawk chop and not Jim Thorpe, because a figure skater from Russia made us question a country's intentions, because a Russian figure skater reinforced the Sha'Carri Richardson got a raw deal. They call it cricket diplomacy. Whenever nations like India and Pakistan halt rivalries, world leaders sitting together in the skybox call ceasefire so that soldiers can enjoy the game in seats or at home with their families. You've never had the power to stop a war. Because hurricane damage meant the Saints didn't play a home game the entire season. 5 years later, they won the Super Bowl. You've never had to give a city back its dignity. because race, because gender, because nationality, because cultural identity, because you don't get Ted Lasso without Pele. Pele was a black man in a racist country whose name became inseparable from the sport. Ali is inseparable from boxing because Pele is Brazil. The town of Santos changed the name of its harbor to King Pele Port after he died. You've never known pressure of putting your city on the map, of lending homeland credibility, of giving strangers pride, black and brown children hope, of being an actual revolutionary, the standard by which all others are weighed and measured. You've never had the pressure of being a symbol. Greatness means no one remembers a time before you, and after you, nothing is the same. Dick Fosbury won gold in the '68 Olympics, the first person to jump backwards. They called it the Fosbury flop. Now everyone does it. If you don't think that's important or impressive, name me another high jumper off the top of your head. They say white men can't jump. You've never had a move named after you. You've never had a move, white boy. You've never known the burden of having style you invented come into question, what it's like to literally change the game. Have refs double check the rule book. You've never been held hostage by someone else's agenda because Brittany Griner, Colin Kaepernick, black gloves at the podium the same year as the Fosbury flop, because women played baseball while husbands fought overseas, because a league of their own, because Unbroken, because Cool Runnings, because your school skin color guarantees you'll never have to worry about being the underdog. Check your privilege. Because in Space Jam, Bill Murray says Larry's not white, Larry's clear. Effa Manley is the only woman in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Co-owned the Newark Eagles, led the team to victory in the Negro League World Series. She was an activist, held anti-lynching demonstrations in the ballpark. To this day, no one knows if she was white or mixed white passing. You never had to hide who you are. Rapper, tell me what it's like to move the crowd. I'm told that's what MC stands for. Tell me what it's like to be master of ceremonies. You're a student of hip hop. Must know Chuck D named Busta Rhymes after a football player. You said RIP to Phife Dawg like you weren't low-key dissing the athletes he idolized. Bo knows this and Bo knows that, but Bo don't know Jack because Bo can't rap. I'm trying not to make this personal, trying not to give lecture on legacy. All anyone remembers you for is complaining that the hotel breakfast didn't have soy milk. The same week a black poet grabbed you by the collar because you dropped an M-bomb in the cipher, I was there. Both times, and somehow, at 9 years old, I slept through Joe Carter's Game 6 home run in the '93 World Series. Of all the things for me not to witness, the final match between Japan and the US in the 2023 World Baseball Classic might set the record for the most watched ball game in history. A 13-hour time zone distance between the host city of Miami and the land of the rising sun. Offices and households watch live on American TV stations as early as 8 in the morning. But of course, you know better than 5 million people. You've accomplished anything to make an entire nation want to get up early. The greatest pitcher in the world was born in Japan, plays for Los Angeles, doesn't speak a word of English. You've never had to let stats speak for you because you're an awkward interview in the locker room. You've never had to let math transcend language barrier because numbers don't lie. White boy, I get the feeling your life's not made of finish lines. You've never had to run to home plate. You've never had to run faster than bullets at your back. You've never had to make 100 meters in less than 10 seconds. Meanwhile, Usain Bolt is God in Jamaica. Pele is God in Brazil. Shohei Ohtani and Naomi Osaka are gods in Japan. The Williams sisters are gods in Compton. Dick Fosbury is God of the high jump, you cynical piece of shit. You've never been anyone's God but your own. Never had third world shanty towns transform your image into murals for school children to look up to. Never had to practice a spiral that might snatch you up a scholarship. A jump shot to get your mama out the hood. Black baseball players could only afford one ball per game. Imagine umpires asking kids in the stands to hand back foul balls so both teams could continue playing. This gave birth to more aggressive technique, infield ground balls, Negro League All-Stars stealing more bases instead of swinging for the fences, knocking it out the park. Imagine baseballs as physical wads of cash. You would want to keep yours where you could see it instead of sending it out past the cornfield or the river or the parking lot. Black pitchers spat on them as if claiming their money. White batters didn't want to touch, handle, or get hit by wet balls. White ball clubs banned pitching with spitballs as unsanitary. White players hit their money beyond the fence, knowing there was always gonna be more. Babe Ruth was not a base runner. Negro League players stole bases with bloodthirsty aspiration, still pitched, threw spitballs, literally played a different game than white contemporaries. You've never had to adapt to finite resources. You've never had someone threaten, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. White boy, you've never had to run like hell. You've never had to run for your life.
Our next three, Maisha, the Croatian, and then Anthony.
I am Maisha, means life in Swahili. So I like to say I bring life to everything I touch and am around. So I'm gonna start out with a little Denise Williams. I don't know if you know who she is. So I guess we'll start with a little hand clap. And then I will, wait. Yeah, hold on, I'm gonna get y'all together, okay? Okay, so we're gonna go. Yeah, nice pace. And I just got to be me. La da 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 da. And I just got to be free, 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 free. Yeah. Okay, good. So I typically am a vocalist and I sing, but this is my second time actually sharing my writings. I've been writing since I was a little kid, so I'm gonna share a piece called I've Been Tried. So, sorry Mom, it's like 2 curse words in there.
Go for it.
So,
Curtis was already up there. Yeah.
2 strikes and you're good.
oh goodness, okay. I've been tried. Tried some more. And quite honestly, I'm tired. Trying to give me the scraps, the motherfucking scraps. Silence is the teacher. Actions show forth, hidden in plain sight. I know this feeling all too well. I've allowed it to overthrow my truth. Over and over and over again. Hell, I've even tricked myself into believing, nah, how could they? Maybe I'm tripping. But if you have discernment and you trust yourself, don't deny your truth. People out here using insecurities for security as their theme song. All for what? To look better than the next? Be the hierarchy? Pretend to be for you? All to cover you up when the lights come on? If you're rooting for someone, there is no half-ass rooting. Either you are for them or not. No one can take away from the light given. So even through sabotage, that light is still piercing through. What's for you will always be for you. Don't worry, sing and move to the beat of your own drum. Them scraps will never belong to you. You take nothing, because the whole plate has been divinely given to you. I'm undefeated, especially under the circumstances of trying to throw me under the bus. Amen. I don't take no motherfucking scraps. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So Lauren says my nickname is the Croatian because my husband is Croatian and I'm Asian, so we put it together and we say Croatian. A little fun fact. My dad's in the audience today, which is super fun. Hi, Dad. I'll read a little bit of my introduction, and I have 3 short pieces for you tonight. My name is Karlai Gambaroja. Karlai is the Chinese part, Gambaroja is the Croatian part. This actually has been a pretty busy and bittersweet season with my dad coming to visit for a couple months here and there while he was gone to Hong Kong for about a year and a half. He actually leaves this Thursday for Hong Kong again. So one of the pieces I'll read tonight is actually about him, so that's kind of fun. Today I'm also celebrating 7 years of marriage to Zoran, so thank you. He had to work tonight, so I also have a piece about him as well as a piece about our lives, and so that'll be those two. The poems I chose for tonight touch a little bit on everything that I tend to write about. Loss and grief, infertility and family and history and travel, all that kind of stuff. And the pieces tonight also are a little bit unedited because I've been trying something new. Fun fact, these are a result of exercises from a writing group that I started in April for Poetry Month. And there are some, it's amazing what you can do in 15 minutes, you know? So there are writing prompts that I started collecting and curating, and on Instagram, you'll find them at Poetry Hour Workshops if you wanted to follow along as well. And I hope that if you do, you would have some new pieces yourself as well, just for fun. So just sharing the journey. So the 3 pieces I'll share, the titles are from the 3 word of the day prompts that I've been using. And the first one is called Steps. That's the one about my dad. All the steps he took from one side of the world to the other began in the shadow of green blanketed mountains and jagged brown hills, among rows carved into lush soil by the one family cow. If only there was a way to trace them, the small footsteps of him as an 11-year-old in fields of gailan and dragon fruit, across dirt threshold and tin roof, to drop firewood under the large cast iron pot where he steamed and burnt his first batch of rice, not knowing it would lead to the scolding and wooden spoon to the head after running out to meet friends in groves where lychee, dark red and bumpy with ripeness, tempted him day by day on his hours-long walks to and from school, 1, 2, 3 steps up the trunk to reach the sweet, translucent, golf ball-sized fruit, only to have foothold lost when he stepped on the dried, dead branch. Cry, crash, land, back, blood, but breathing. No scolding until 3 months of recovery were completed. Today, he tells his children and grandchildren the story with laughter and wisdom, even as his feet show no sign of slowing, with thousands of steps still taken daily. There are countless adventures yet to be told. Thanks. The second piece is from a prompt called Hello, and it is written about my husband and I and a season of grieving and loss and just life. How do you move on, you know? So hello. Opening the blinds, she stretches weary arms toward the ceiling, staring across the small yard at the soot-stained stones of a fire pit, once ablaze and full of dancing orange and yellow sparks, now overflowing with black and white, fluttering out with the steady, warm breezes, blowing remains of life and death over branches like salt and peppering ashes across withered brown leaves, strewn around the torn-down, fenced-in plot of soil they call theirs. After years of waiting, searching, offering, hoping. Hello, grief. We've spent 9 years and 240 days weathering seasons, waiting for the right moments to step outside, or for rain to wash over everything so we can start rekindling the fire of hope again. The last piece is written about my husband, and it is called Running. From an early age, he learned that even if he inhaled his food quickly, he would still have to squirm in his chair for the 5 minutes that seemed like eternity, impatient to run down the cobblestone path to the nearby black and brown pebbled beach, past the busy, compact alleyways until the Adriatic Sea opened up before him like a clear, shimmering turquoise blanket he could fly into. Now, he has learned that even if he treads water for days, there is no way to keep his head above the salty waves. He has tried shifting the weights from his chest and shoulders, but there is nowhere they can go. Instead, he is discovering from others floating nearby, there are ways to breathe underwater like a tropical fish, bright and glowing in the vast ocean, and let the weights take him to new depths that show him there is power in embracing and exploring unknown worlds that will help him run underwater.
I got 2 poems for you tonight. The first piece is called The Free Lunch Club during the last week of 8th grade. At Richmond Middle, lunch ladies wear more than hairnets, serve more than food to crowds of rowdy middle schoolers. This isn't some 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, off on weekends and holidays, a do these daily duties because other options amount to more lint in my pockets type of gig. Hairnets are crowns, crowning queens that cater wars through pizza too stale to eat for some, last year meal to summer school for others. In this cafeteria, queens serve raisin cookies, softening stares, stony as calluses on tired hands, a child's hands, callous from hauling bricks to mortar a home. In this cafeteria, queens go as empty trays like voids and desolate refrigerators. Tater tots and pizza splattered on this cafeteria floor as a child walking to a home shattered like a backbone, hollow as space a pawned sofa has left, thirsting like a cup rusting in a sink that hasn't won water for weeks.
Yes.
In this cafeteria, queens are chocolate sweetening milk in cartons. Cartons closely cradling each drop of milk so each drop knows is worthy of being loved, and not just in this cafeteria. Queens scold like carrots with a pinch of brown sugar sprinkled on top. Scold if a tray or mess isn't in great trash cans. In this cafeteria, the janitors are priests rolling trash cans like mobile confessionals, collect messes, the muted confessions of barely lived lives. The bell rings. Priests pile weight of silence onto gray rolling carts lining walkways of this cafeteria. These messes do more than bloat bags. They crack tongues like desert mud, hollow bones of hope like the Mojave sun. The bell rings. From this cafeteria, queens and priests push kids through double doors. Kids leave messes to rot in this cafeteria. Leave messes a child shouldn't carry in this place erected to be left. Leave messes in this cafeteria. Children leave, and go chase your smile. Thank you.
My man.
Give us the second one. Give us the second one.
This one is called A Reclamation of Woke. Woke, verb, definition. Simple past tense of wake, sentence. William Kelly reclaimed woke in the 60s, but we've been that since we've been woke in present tense. Means wake, verb, definition. To be roused from sleep, sentence. Wake and peel back white lies, lying like white sheets of a bygones that haven't gone yet. Stay woke and don't sleep, verb, definition. To be careless or unalert, sentence. Fascists paint Hinduism by stippling swastikas Holocaust red as the world sleeps. Definition, to lie in death. Sentence. Don't sleep in the presence of death. Noun, definition. Bloodshed or murder. Sentence. Death begins as a painter, plastering acrylic over a sculpture that the sculptor didn't paint, like woke. Statue we sculpted at the barbecue, jet black and never signifying, But here it is. Woke in acrylic yellow skin, concocted of poached hookah lounge convos, notes on subjects that spoke but weren't heard, whose culture was napkin like old gum to be flung at any receptacle empty enough to take it. The note takers didn't know what they were taking. Listen, woke can't be stuck to the scrotums of tables. See, woke is Socrates murmuring philosophies, questioning philosophy while pouring up solo cups of that brown stuff. Woke isn't hearing ghosts, but seeing the bones and bodies below bridges we cross to get to this moment. Woke is knowing that stitching clothes at people's lips, others people's lips, with no needle or stitches, is as easy as closing a book or scribbling lines on a map. Listen to me, but for you too. Stay woke in the way flower petals prostrate and soak up the sun. The way Erykah Badu explained it. Stay woke like Childish Gambino wailed it, because this is America dozing off to sleep. Awaken, my love, but not for me, but for us. Stay in past tense. Don't wake. To wake is to wake from sleep. If we sleep, the painter finishes painting, then buries the statue and calls it a masterpiece.
Jennifer, Shakira, and then Harold.
I'm going to read a couple of poems from a larger piece that I did. It was a graduate thesis. It was a sound and poetry piece. It was kind of like your old-time concept albums. So it's sound mixed with music, which mixed with destruction of music and poetry. And it's called Signals from a Ghost Star. So these are a couple pieces from that. Okay, the first one is called Spectrum, and in parentheses, self-portrait, not portrait, portrait. Okay. A spectrum emblem the child wears on her sleeve. She tries to whisper words through cupped hands and tongue, a language familiar in tone. Struggle to understand inside. My ear, a broken bass pedal, hits skin, awkward, puzzle piece, whose curvilinear lines only intersect with the grid lines on a cosmic axis. Roots and bone, bud and soft tissue, seeded through, despite the mother's tumor looming over time. Roots became exposed, tree down, dead, but a hole it made remains, the remains, that someone or something makes its new home. A kite tight in trees, just out of climb or reach, in words not written, stitch in 4/4 time the beats on tattooed aortas. So can I just say one thing? Are we not on sacred ground here? Are we not in church right now? Church of Amen. Amen. No, not of me. No, just from the first poet, man, from Ty. Okay. Next one is called Ultraviolet. Because I need light. My body is a mirror, my skin a map of stars, each beauty mark of time, the coordinates that point the way. The ghost star collector has found me. She gently scoops me up. She whispers, I have always kept my jar of stars close. You see, darkness is not really darkness at all. And our eyes never truly close. With sonar eyes, I see her garden of fireflies. I am the painting that looks out from its canvas, swimming in the sound waves through ultraviolet pigments, collecting my own ghost stars. One more little one. Thank you. This is a short one. It's called Digital Babylon. Digital Babylon plays with a synthetic science and aesthetic traces of a tropic isle in scraps of radio romancers. Zion answers, change the station. Yes!
Am I on the X? Am I on the X? Yes, I'm on the X. My name is Shakira, like the singer. I know, but I don't sing. I don't sing at all. I'm gonna do 2 pieces for you guys. Today is actually my first time performing here, so thank you so much. Have some grace with me as I shake off nerves that I'm not necessarily used to, right? So. I need a reason to be okay with you looking at me in ways I've never seen. There's this feeling I can't explain, and quite honestly, I don't want to. Mars is Mars because someone named it without having explored, yet we've embraced it as a fact. I need a reason that satisfies beyond the norm. To feel the sun rays warm my body in the same way your hands do and not question if the feeling's enough to make it through, or whatever that means. People seem to have an insatiable want to label things. This goes here, and the grass is green, the skies are blue, and forever should last infinitely. But if I put that there, and my favorite color just so happens to be happy, I must be crazy. I want a reason to never leave, but truth is, monogamy scares me. My parents didn't make it, and my grandparents are together barely. I have no desire to encapsulate my intimacy in order. Marriage, house, kids, Volvo. To make it easy for other people to swallow, society standards are low on my list of things to follow. Pretty pink bow to distract you from the hollow little box that we're stuck in. Tell people it's better if they fit in. Size 0 tolerance for the gimmicks. I'd rather start at the finish. Small reminder that I'm already winning. If forever is what we make it, maybe you'll think it's me. And if you don't, as sure as time keeps ticking, my favorite color will still be happy. No blueprints, no copies. I guess I see it through scorn eyes. Skeptic romanticism often overpowering my visuals and confusing my deepest insights. Happy doesn't come in black or white. Forever starts with just one night. So believing in what's natural comes with a fight for me. I'm forever questioning what's wrong and right, especially in today's society. A guy can become a girl and find a crowd where it feels normal, but if I turn 34 and have no kids, I must be shaking the need to conform. Swimming against currents, trying to break the designated form, intended for women, regulated by men, a skit I've read but refuse to perform in. Listen to the wise guy. Dance in the storm, embrace every moment, and cherish what's truly yours. Eventually, when you open your eyes, the clouds have passed, and new shadows will be cast by the sun shining bright in the skies. By the stars gleaming in your eyes, I'm far from finding out, but when I'm there, you'll be the first to know. For now, I love you means I want more, and I've run a shortage on giving to the poor. Take your time, spend it slow. Give what you're given, and never lose the need to explore you, deep and thorough, like the chances we never took. The pages torn from the book, but memorized line by line, will be just fine. Regardless of what we do in our lives, it's been written by the Most High. Yeah! Thank you. Thank you. I'm overwhelmed by that response. For real. I have one more, and I'll be out your hair. I promise. Before this starts, I must apologize for things I more than certainly do. I always ask questions I'll never know the answer to. I've never been able to adequately tell the truth. I'm not a liar, and moving forward, I'll accept yours too, for nothing can be fully attested through word, least the few we choose over and over and attempt to exploit all parts of what we feel or do. Where's the soul? I'll always fall short, mess up, start over, or lose my way from what I wanted to say to I'd rather throw this topic away. How do I know? In my defense, true feelings don't fit into syllables and letters, and your brown... I gotta do that again. In my defense, true feelings don't fit into syllables and letters, and your soft brown skin just doesn't know any better. Should I go? They say words are paper thin. In this case, if you weighed the process and pain, there wouldn't be a scale that'd say the same. What brings diamonds from coal? So I apologize for not finishing what I start, leaving you with bits and pieces of my heart and pulling away before realizing it's fear that cages the expressions of such art. When did it begin? For neglecting your perfections and exalting those which don't meet my preference, no more questions. Commitment phobe, intolerant of exceptions, but to you I'll always come back with sentence. So like all the pages bound to your spine, dear notebook, bear with me, one word at a time. It's in you my soul finds rest, and I know because of the irrefutable presence of peace that takes vengeance over anything that's ever kept me from this. So I'll stay. For reasons mysterious to my brain, let these words shine to the brave dark nights of today's acid rains. Forever is found in every second of every day, and I'll write them all down. Signed, the poet, lost and found.
First and foremost, I'd like to pay my respects to the Creator without whom nothing is possible. I'd like to welcome you all with the warmest of greetings, and that is the greetings of peace and love. The poem that I want to share with you tonight is entitled, The Passion of the Christ. It is inspired by the Madonna della Pieta by Michelangelo, which he carved when he was only 23 years old. It is currently housed in St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City. A Pieta is a painting or sculpture of the Mother Mary holding and mourning over the dead body of her child, the Christ, after he had just been taken down from the cross, an event which came to be known as crucifixion. Pieta means pity, compassion, and sorrow, expressed as the 7 last sayings of Christ, the representation of the resurrection of man from this miserable life. Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? It seems there's so much suffering and misery in the world, I question what's God making me, as he's inspiring and shaping me, with his hammer and his chisel spiritually. This cross that I bear weighs on me mentally. It manifests the physical frailties of man as he plays out his divine tragedy. So into thy hands, O Lord, I commend my spirit. Can you imagine knowing the unthinkable? Waking every day, living on the brink of war. Is it for that knowledge that I thirst? Like the sting of vinegar, on blood-stained lips burst by the heat of the sun on the day of crucifixion. So Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Journey across the lifespan in only a span of a matter of seconds. So there's no time for second guessing. The decisions that characterize where we stand. We watch man condemn man and do nothing. So how is it this day thou shalt be with me in paradise? I bear the stigmata of the crown of thorns. I accept the mission for which I was born. Son, behold thy mother. Mother, behold thy son. How does a mother hold her child in the arms before he dies? With the same compassion and strength that Mary held the Christ in her arms as he dies. As she withheld the look of the pain of the world in her eyes. And although she knew he was sent from this earth to this earth as a sign, as a gift, and that this day, this second, this hour was manifest. So Pieta means queen, mother, earth. Pieta means pain, struggle, and sacrifice to bring this child to birth. Pieta means first teacher, first guide. Pieta means 9 months of nourishment in the establishment of a righteous mind. Pieta represents moon, which represents balance. A mother's ears hears the cry of a child in the wilderness when everyone else hears silence. A mother smells the fear when the enemy of life, which is death, comes near. A mother's voice is the encouragement to succeed, to teach the child about God and a world based on greed. My mother's hands fed me when I couldn't feed me. My mother's hands chastised me because she loved me, then hugged me. My mother's hands supported me when I could no longer support myself. In life and in death, it is finished. The Passion of the Christ.
Hi, guys. It's actually my second time. I just wanted to say that because that was my first time. I'm nervous, but I noticed I had like a whole explanation for this. And while I was listening to everybody, I realized there was like a common thread in everybody's poem. And it was that there's someone that's impacted us so greatly, whether it be your dad or your mom or God. And for me, that's God, and that's my grandfather. And so I wanted to just do this piece that's basically my coping mechanism in times of anxiety. I write down in my journal letters. So this is my letter. You have done it again. You reached out to pull my hand from the rubble surrounding me, also known as the life I was born into. At 22, how much life could you have lived? If an MRI brain scan can tell how old my brain felt, the limit would not exist. I was 14, going on 40. And that is a word the Lord had told me. I was giving advice to my elders, making them question, yet they were receptive. My grandpa, rest his soul, would tell me how others were crazy, but would tell the crazies how far I would go. He said, when you put an interest in time, you can do anything. But wow, how it felt, and it was an interesting time, and I did nothing. He was 99 in his prime, with a spine that spelled out the word humility. And here I was complaining about the very thing and circumstance that gave my life meaning. So when he passed, I'd think of birds being set free in a room that is now mine. And it's interesting in ways that it can't wrap around my brain how I could be so filthy and loved simultaneously. So God, this letter is for you. Why, when numbering stars and dressing lilies, did you think the world needed one of me? Yes, I know and believe in Matthew 6:33, but why, when knowing and I was placed and rooted and petals picked, do I not feel worthy to obtain all of your glory? I'm casting burdens on you to feel sustained, but all that's obtained is grace that I handle so loosely, a mistake so easily repeated, and my hands are shaking while I write, let alone I can't decide if I can finish. So I'm sorry that I go to you like a child for my wants, when I'm scared, when I free fall from dreams, and there's a panting in my chest that screams doubt, you can't catch me. But this fall occurs daily, and daily you have open arms to catch me, to mend my mistakes and to kiss them with grace, for I am a child you have called, and I'm sorry I don't call more often.
Unfortunately, I did not write very happy poems. I'm working on that. This one is called Free Me, and it's... What? Oh, okay. This one is called Free Me. There's a girl that lives inside of me. Her eyes are always closed. Her head hangs low. Face is always covered, yet she's protected. She hid memories so I wouldn't feel hurt. She made time stop as my innocence was slain. She stiffened my body and made me numb so I wouldn't focus on the pain. She's the version of me that I hate because I hate sympathy. The way people treat you like you're broken. The way life slaps you in the face as it just takes and takes that girl inside of me. She screams for help as I am quiet. Free me! As she is imprisoned in my mind because I won't speak up. I continue to carry baggage that was never mine to begin with. It was not my fault. I was not too nice. Not your fault. They knew better. Yes. I am not free until I am no longer attached to these. Scared little girl, release me. It's why you found comfort where you were not wanted. It's why you associated beauty with pain. It's why you had a high tolerance for spirits. It's why you still cry when it's too quiet. I want out. Start from the beginning and release me. Underage and touched. Sorry if I make you cry. This one is called Scream. And I wrote this one right after I finally told my mom I was touched. And the abuse I had in college as well. For so long, I told myself I didn't blame you. Throwing soda bombs, just waiting for one to explode loud enough so you'd ask me again. Because I was too afraid to just say it. a broken voice box under lock and key. And when I finally broke free, I found the source. It was you. You were who I was truly hiding from because I didn't want to take the very piece of you that I admire the most. Your desire to care for people. Not realizing that choosing you meant I had to sacrifice my mind. And without the control of my mind, my body failed to communicate. So even when I knew what was happening, I go mute. My body paralyzed. And when I came to, I paint the canvas that God gave me and wore it as a mask. The first time I put on that mask is when I told you no. Because by then it had happened more than once. There was nothing to protect. My innocence was stripped away. Gone. I so desperately wanted you to ask me again. Because for some reason I crave your permission. An angered little crow, and I'll never forget my abuser's faces. 6. The 2 women that blamed me because their boyfriends cheated, making it even harder to speak up. You wanted to know how I cope. I scream. In a pillow, in dark rooms, I scream. Thank you.
We've been working on music together. He's an incredible rapper, singer, and I'm just there giving the lyrics. So what happened was I prayed as we sat here because it felt like it was a divine incidence to arrive, and I started writing, some thoughts that I was going to speak. But then halfway through, God said, "These lyrics these words aren't for you; they're for Him." And I didn't even know that we were going to come up here together, nor did I know if we were going to be able to. But then he said, "We're going up together." I said, "Okay, we're doing it."
I was not supposed to be up here.
Yes. So normally, when I'm in front of a group, I'm leading a meditation. I'm teaching meditation. So not going to lead a meditation tonight, but I would like to just invite each of you for a moment before we start to just come back to yourself and come back to your heart and your own breath. Because when we're in this space, we're sharing a lot of ourselves with others. So if we just allow that moment, just come back, totally grounding, and allowing your voice within to become a reflection of what we're sharing today. Thank you.
Okay. Divine timing that lead to your destiny. Timing will lead you to be found. Epiphany. If you come to me tripping, if you ask me where I've been, I'll say I'm out here living. Don't bring me your anger. Don't bring me your shame. I'm not in the world to play the same game. It's all good, you're forgiven. If you come to me stepping, the right one, I was all the way live in TVT, posted up shorty in the VIP.
Used to be Snow Bunny.
All eyes on me, not for the sake of today, but tomorrow. I'm here to bring a little bit of sunshine to your sorrow. All eyes off me, I see you. I'm not here to disappear or dissipate, not to dilute, but here to salute. Before I saw myself, I saw the world, I followed the light. I am the light, I ascended, I transcended this body called life. After I died, I found Jesus Christ. I began to find Christ in me. Jesus gave me a sight to see. I began to change the world the way that I saw the world. That we walk on the earth plane, you see, I believe that I am. Starseed, superstar. Not up here to give y'all bars. I'm here to give y'all more heart, to bring you the vibe. Finally, maybe did I just find my tribe.
This project was made possible by our season sponsors, Orange County, United Arts, the State of Florida, ACS, and Orlando Health. Our wonderful board members. We thank our donors and members, as well as our business sponsors. Please thank them for their support for Timucua.